So good morning to all. So all of you are requested to join the class as soon as possible. And today, I think I'll be just completing the lesson today. Okay. So already we have gone through four paragraphs. And yesterday your class was not held because of the technical error. Okay, I tried for half an hour, and the complete time was wasted. So once again, good morning to all. So I'm just giving you a minute, and so already we have discussed paragraph number 4, I think, and yes, up to paragraph number 3, how the author is narrating a story when he used to live with a man and who used to make him mad because that person used to sit on sofa and supervise the work. So that person already we have discussed. So number fourth one, you see the text. I think text is available with all of you, so you can go with the text also. So I think today we will discuss paragraph number fourth paragraph. So you see, however, I didn't say anything but started the packing. It seemed a longer job than I had thought it was going to be. And this one also I think we have discussed, but I got the bag finished at last and I sat on it and strapped it. Then in between, Harry says, reminding him whether he has already put the boots in or not. Then I looked around and found that I had really forgotten them. So this part also we have discussed. So number 3, once again I am revising, and fourth one then I will come back to fifth. So how the writer is recollecting that once he lived with a man who would sit lazily on the sofa all day through, okay, and would watch the writer do all the work. And that person used to say him that he enjoyed watching him go around doing all the work. And this would make the writer really very much angry. And the writer also is adding that he could not sit idle and watch others work like slaves. So, do you like somebody who will be monitoring you, guiding you, and the person will be sitting very idle? So, nobody likes that idea. On the other hand, he liked to check their work, walk around with his hands in his pocket, and direct them on how to do the work properly. And he feels that he was very much. Yesterday, I discussed with you day before yesterday that the nature of the writer. The nature of the writer is very much energetic, and it was a part of his nature to behave in that manner. Did you understand? In paragraph number 3, you can see the nature of a writer. You can see. If I ask you what is the nature of the writer, then is very much energetic. So paragraph 4th also we discussed that In paragraph 4, again I am summarizing it. The writer didn't say anything to his friends, and he started packing. As he closed it, then Harry said that he had forgotten to pack the boots. And the writer felt that Harris could have reminded him before he had closed the bag. What a stupid, silly idea Harris is having. So the writer feels that Harris could have reminded him before he had closed the bag. But he thought that Harris was like that only. And after that, George, you see, George, what George also did? George was giving a very irritating smile at the writer. And this was followed by irritating laughter also by George, which made the writer wild with anger. So, this much already we have done it. Then I think this toothbrush one also I have completed also, I think. Number fifth one you see, I opened the bag and packed the boots in, and then just as I was going to close it, a horrible idea occurred to me. Had I packed my toothbrush, I don't know how it is, but I never to know whether I have packed my toothbrush or not. So, Subham, do I have discussed paragraph number 5 with you? Paragraph number 5. Can anyone just remind me? Subham, do I have discussed paragraph number 5? Let me check it. So, paragraph number 5, I am discussing with you. The writer is adding that while traveling, he always messes up with carrying his toothbrush. He never really forgets it. So he has nightmares of not having packed it. Nightmare means bad dream, you can say. Nightmare. Nightmare. So I think in the little girl lesson, you must have seen that Kezia, I think, had a nightmare that the butcher with a knife. You must have heard that story. The little girl. I think it is in your previous lessons you have, isn't it? So number fifth one, you see, the writer is adding that while traveling, he always messes up with carrying his toothbrush, and he had a nightmare of not having packed it, and then waking up in his sweat and looks for it. In the morning, he packs it before using it, and then unpacks the bag also to get the brush and uses it. As it is the last thing that comes out of the bag, and he has repacked the bag, he forgets packing it again. And at the last moment, what is happening? He is rushing to the room to get the brush, and finally he wraps it in his handkerchief and carrying it to railway station in his hand. So this line you can see in your textbook. And in the morning I pack it before I have used it and have to unpack again to get it. And it is always the last thing I turn out of the bag, and then I repack and forget it. And I have to rush upstairs for it at the last moment. Okay, you see the textbook and carry it to the railway station wrapped up in my pocket handkerchief. So this is the textbook, isn't it? So many funny incidents which are happening in the story. And during the course of packing, already I have discussed with you that during the course of packing, both George and Harris, instead of decreasing the burden of the writer while packing, okay, they are adding more fuel to it. आग में घी डालने का काम. Did you understand? So they are adding more fuel. So many different incidents. When you go through different paragraphs, then you will get to know the different activities, means silly activities they have done. And the time also you can note in your textbook that when actually they completed the task of packing. So paragraph number 6, it is given that of course I had to turn every mortal thing out now, and of course I couldn't find it. Paragraph number 6. Okay, you just check it out, paragraph number 6, and I'll be just let me find the text here. Where is that paragraph number 4? Hmm. Of course, yes. Of course, I had to run. I had to turn every mortal thing out now, and of course, I couldn't find it. I rubbed the things out into much the same state that they must have been before the world was created. And when chaos reigned, means ruled, REIGNED, okay. Rumped means searching in a hurried or a careless way. RU double M is AD. I think it is given in your textbook also. Searching something in a careless manner. Searching something in something, I have written in short form STH. Okay. In a careless manner. Careless way also you can say. So another line is given in your textbook. Of course, I found George and Harris 18 times over, but I couldn't find my own. I put the things back one by one and held everything up and shook it. Then I found it inside a boot. I repacked once more. Mortal thing means every ordinary thing. Mortal thing means every ordinary thing. So, what is the meaning I am telling you? Chaos means confusion, and reign means ruling. So, you see, paragraph number 6, what the writer is trying to discuss with you, or what is all about that story. The writer is looking for his toothbrush in his bag. First thing you have to understand. So, he had to remove everything, but he couldn't find it. And he found his friend's brushes over there many times, but couldn't find his own toothbrush. And toothbrush, this is very essential while traveling. So we should keep it in a separate box or in a bag also. So luggage, when you are keeping or taking any luggage, then you keep your shorts and pants or any other necessary things in a separate box or bag. And minor things, basically we forget. We have the tendency to forget. Yes or no? And it can happen with all of you also. Many times it has happened with me also. Like toothbrush, I'll be forgetting. Toothpaste. Also, I'll be forgetting it. Then I have to buy it at a railway station. Okay, so this it happens also. So when the writer is looking for his own toothbrush in his bag, he had to remove everything, but he couldn't find it. And he found his friend's brushes, Harris and George one, many times, but couldn't find his own toothbrush. Then he kept everything back into the bag one by one, once more, checking each item also whether the toothbrush might have gone inside the boot or what. And finally found the toothbrush inside a boot. Then once again he has to repack the bag. So when he had finished, George is asking if the soap was in or not. I said I didn't care whether the soap was in or whether it was not. And he slammed the bag shut and strapped it. And found that he had packed my spectacles in it and had to reopen it. See, very major thing, he had packed his own spectacles in it. So without spectacles, he cannot travel also, he cannot see. So the writer had to reopen the bag. And got finally shut off finally. It got shut off finally at 10:05 p.m. And then there remained the hampers to do. Harry said that we should be wanting to start in less than 12 hours time and thought that he and George had better do the rest. And I agreed and sat down. The writer were really very much fatigued, they really very much frustrated with the process of packing. So George and Harris, they are advising the writer to calm down. You sit for a while and let the task be given to us. And you know it better also, as once the task is assigned to George and Harris, then what is going to happen? All of you know it. Because they are going to increase the border rather minimizing the task. So next paragraph you see, paragraph number 7 already, that so one also we discussed. These all silly things are happening while packing, and it took a lot of time. And this is very interesting thing. It is given paragraph number 8. You see, they began in a light-hearted spirit, evidently intending to show me how to do it. And I made no comment. I only waited. The writer is saying that both George and Harris, they began in a very light-hearted spirit, not in a very serious mood. The packing task was given to them. Okay, so the writer just watching them, and both of them they started doing the work in a very light-hearted spirit, evidently intending to show the writer how to do it. And the writer made no comment on it, just only waited. And with the exception of George, Harris is the worst packer in this world. And I looked at the piles of plates and cups and kettles and bottles and jars and peas and stoves and cakes and tomatoes, etc., and felt that this would soon become exciting. So, see what is happening in paragraph number 8. Light-hearted spirit means to be cheerful. Light-hearted spirit. Light-hearted light-hearted spirit, spirit, in a cheerful, to be cheerful. To be cheerful, and evidently means very clearly. Evidently means very clearly. Exception means a person or thing that doesn't follow the general rule. Exceptional case. Okay. So what is happening? You see, paragraph number 8. George and Harris, they both started packing the hampers in a very happy mood, and they wanted to show the writer that they would pack well. And the writer waited for them to create a very terrible thing, mess, because he considered Harris, he knows it very well that Harris, his friend, is one of the worst packers in the world. Because he knows very well the nature of George and Harris. So the writer is just waiting and watching. So the writer looked at the piles of plates, cups, kettles, bottles, the jars, cakes, and tomatoes which had to be packed into hampers. And he thought that as the boys will create a very serious issue, it would be very interesting thing to watch. The writer is very excited to see something going to be very exciting. Something exciting is going to happen. So when you are amidst such kind of people, then you see what is going to happen. And they started with breaking a cob. This was the first thing they did it. What the writer expected, really it happened. Both George and Harris, they break one cob. They started with a breaking a cob, and this was the first thing they did. And they did that just to show you what they could do and to get you interested. So all silly things are mentioned here. Okay. Then another fourth character which jumps into the story, that is the pet dog Montmorency. The name of the dog already I told you in the brief summary part. What is the dog's name? Who can tell me? So another story, that character it is there. Yes, Anushka, what is the dog's name? Another character it is there in the story, because altogether four characters are there, total four narratives are there, and the story is narrated in the first person singular form, and the writer himself is talking that. Montmorency, the dog's name. So paragraph number 9. Next, George stepped on the butter scene, and the writer remained silent but sat on the edge of the table to watch the action. And his silence irritated his friends, and they became very much nervous and stepped on the things, and they kept the things behind them, and later, when they wanted them, they couldn't find them. Then they offset salt over everything also. That particular scene it is given, and as for the butter, and the writer never saw men do more with 1 and 2 pence worth of butter in my whole life than they did. So, just a minute. Hello. Good morning. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Uh, I have completed my graduation also, plus master degree also in English. But I'm looking for uh, ma'am, just right now I have class here. I'm working in a school. So after half an hour I can call you back. Okay. So this is your number, ma'am. Okay, one second. Thank you, man. Okay, thank you. नहीं, वो मैं वो इग्नू का मैं फॉर्म कल फिल करके भेजा मैंने, तो उसमें उनका यूनिवर्सिटी में तो मेरे को फ़ोन किए कि आप कौन से सब्जेक्ट में मास्टरी करना चाहते हैं, आपको बताएंगे कि स्ट्रक्चर ये सब इग्नू से। हम्म, तो अब जस्ट ग्रेजुएशन है और ये कंप्लीटेड बोल रहे हैं, तो मैं ऑलरेडी कंप्लीट मास्टर डिग्री है एक में, दूसरा करना है। तो ठीक है, बहुत बढ़िया सर। अभी बात फ्री है तो मैं बताऊंगा, क्योंकि मैं फ्री में हूँ। So, dear students, I think let me see whether the time is over or what. Is there any time or over? So, remaining portion, all of you just read at home, and I'll be sharing some questions and answer with you. I think this is very nothing. It is there, very silly question, and uh, serious incidents are happening in the story, and how the writer is just controlling his temper, and finally this is given to you that when that particular task of packing is completed, and the rule of Montmorency, how that dog, instead of decreasing the work, also how increasing more burden, that is also given in the story. And I think after 12 o'clock night only they completed the task of packing. Okay. So thank you very much, then all of you. And tomorrow some important questions and answer I will discuss with you. Just I think more one or two last paragraphs. You just go yourselves. Okay. Study that. If you have any problem, then you can ask me down. Otherwise, I can share some extra questions also with you. So tomorrow, might be with the help of obvious, I can show you that, or direct live class also we can have. So thank you very much, all of you, for joining today's class, and have a great day. Thank you very much.